9 years since the last major TF2 update. This might sound a little bit sad to think about it, but honestly, TF2 fans kinda knew that the game would not get any major update, and we were really fine with it if they fixed the game and made it in a playable state. We suffered a lot through the bot invasions, probably for 4 or 5 years. I think this was the worst period of TF2. And don't get me wrong, the game still has a lot of issue, but right now it's way better than what it was. And what essentially Valve left us with is what we call seasonal update. Seasonal update like Scream Fortress or Smithmas, for example. And with each of those updates comes cosmetic cases that contain stuff like hats, skins, tons and unusual. And all of that is made from the community. And although I really dislike the majority of these cosmetics for reasons I mentioned in previous videos, I think that the majority of them can be summed up as a lazy cash grab that only has been made so it can actually attract the attention of the Valve developer so we can add it into the game. And even with all of that, I honestly think it's still better than nothing. I mean, at least it's something to keep TF2 alive until the next best thing. And out of nowhere, on June 23rd, 2025, the TF2 team has posted a blog post. Man vs. Machine maps needed. We want you to make maps and missions. This honestly caught us all off guard because, come on, 9 years? I mean, at this point, most people has moved on to something else, you know? We haven't really got any major update. We fully accepted this fate, but honestly, that kinda gave us a glimmer of a hope. And I feel like most of the TF2 community felt that maybe this is the start of something nice. Maybe. Maybe it's good for the future of TF2. Unfortunately, I don't like to be a negative Nancy here, but I think I really know why they're doing this update. I don't think it's a move from Valve to, you know, please the community. It's actually a move for them to make money because time shows yet again and again that only motivation for any corporation is making money and nothing else. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to spend money on the game if it's in a playable state. You see where my issue is? My issue is not with them trying to make money. My issue is you're trying to make a money out of broken product. As long as the game is printing money for them, they will not really care even if it doesn't work. It is worth it for Valve, always. They don't care about the playability of TF2. All they care about is money. And that brings me to my question. Why did Valve all of a sudden decided to work on an MVM update? Haven't cared about the game for 9 years. Now, I actually really thought about it. At first, I thought to myself, do I think that they love TF2? No. Do I think that they care about TF2? No. I don't think they care at all. But why? Why the wait so long? Well, I'll tell you why, but before that, I think it's time to take a look into another Valve product, and from there you'll start to connect the dot and think like Valve thinks. Let's take a look at Counter-Strike 2. And the reason I want to take a look at Counter-Strike, because the recent event the game had, and because it's similar to TF2 when it comes to the loot crate system and unboxing. You do the same as you do, you know, in TF2. You buy a key, open a crate, and hope for that 1% item to show up so you can make some money. And I don't think the majority of people are opening these cases for fun, you know. It's always that freaking copium when people say, oh, I open for fun, I don't care what I get. You know, and they're only opening to make money. And here's lies the issue. Because countries in Europe and the US, they're heavily going after Valve, trying to establish in some gambling laws and restriction. You may know that you cannot unbox in certain countries in the world. And I feel like in the future, this might be the case for a lot of these countries, you know, whether it's in Europe or the US or other countries, maybe in Asia, I have no idea. Unless they decide to put like a system of age restriction, you know. And that really hurt Valve a lot because the majority of their income is from these cases. We all know that most people that unbox in these games are children. Because, you know, they literally getting children into gambling. And this is one of my major issue with Valve as a company because of their unstoppable hunger for money that has been gone forever, and getting kids into gambling. Something which should be illegal in my opinion, and it is illegal. However, government would not take notice until really recently, you know, and by that time, I mean, just think about the damage that happened, dude, throughout these years. Anyway, I don't want to deviate so much from the point of this video. On September 17th, 2025, Valve released an update for Counter-Strike and introduced something called the Genesis Terminal. So the idea of a Genesis Terminal is basically a really clever way for Valve to go around gambling system, you know, and sell skins directly. Instead of you buying the skin from a market, you'll be offered the skin from that terminal. If you don't like it, you can switch it. I think you can try like 4 or 5 times maybe. And if you like the skin, that you can purchase it directly. I don't really remember a lot of these details, but basically this is Valve's way of going around gambling, you know, and I think it's the direction that the company is going forward. Knowing that one day possibly there will be a lot of law to restrict people unboxing cases, and that will really hurt their bottom line, you know. And if you really think about it, maybe for a couple seconds after, you'll know the information. You pretty much see why Valve decided to do an MVM update. Why Valve decided to touch a game that they left in the dirt for 9 years. And they don't want to do it because the community needed it. They're doing it just because they need something to make money off in case, you know, in case of restrictions and people won't be able to unbox cases, you know. And we kind of noticed in Counter-Strike that they slowly but surely moving to something like the battle pass. I don't know what they call it there, and they stopped releasing cases, you know. I don't think they'll be doing the same where you can actually combine 5 skins and get a legendary item like a CS knife, because TF2 is a very complex and different game. It's not really like Counter-Strike. Some cases are a little bit similar with the whole quality thing, but I don't think that's the way for them to, you know, to release such an update in TF2. And honestly, I don't really have any reason to believe that they care about the community or the game, you know. They just want money. I know I've been saying this point time and time again. I mean, come on, how many chances do we give them? And being the company that Valve is, they don't like to communicate, and they never do. You know, they always like to work under the rug. The update naturally gonna take them more than the time they promised us. I mean, where we are right now in February? Didn't they say August? Like, I honestly think it's probably gonna be released at the end of the current year, but I hope they do it later, you know. And I think that they are trying to really narrow down their option and calculate every step. This is the type of crap that pisses me off. Look how much effort they're working on this MVM update when it comes to their bottom line. And look how much neglect and not care it comes to when they're working on anything not related to their fucking wallet, you know. And I don't really have any faith in or trust in Valve anymore. I think people should understand Valve's true motive, and when they know that, I think they'll have a better chance of making TF2 better throughout their decision. In conclusion, I think it's safe to say that the MVM update served nothing but another way for Valve to monetize their game. I don't think they're going to be releasing a huge casual fixes, you know. I don't think they'll be trying to fix the bugs or the exploit that has been here for years, you know. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad to make money out of TF2. The issue is, again, the product is dysfunctional. At least if you want to make money out of the game, fix it. Make it playable. And I think you should probably do that before you start milking the money. And believe me, I'm happy to throw thousands of dollars at Valve if they do that, you know. Look at Counter-Strike right now. Even Counter-Strike is suffering, you know. And there's a lot of cheaters there. There's also a false back bans going on, you know. That's a whole other fiasco going on there. And my reason that I made this video is to show you that Valve's true motive will never change. And they will always not go for the customers, only their goal to make money. It has been only the greed of this company that eventually will take it to the downfall. Hopefully, this video will change the opinion of some of Valve bootlickers. Look man, I know the company does good stuff every now and then, but the majority of stuff they do is absolutely horrible. And when it comes to putting the good and the bad on a scale, you know, I think the bad stuff that Valve did heavily outweighs the good. And that's my honest opinion. I love Valve. I like the stuff that they do. I love their games, but the company seems to only care about this one thing and continue doing terrible things. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know your opinion in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.